Hey, welcome to Daily Bravo Drama. In this video, we will be talking about Jax Taylor, coming for Stassi Schroeder marriage, a bizarre $12,500 lawsuit involving Kelly Dodd, Kristen Doute, blowing up a 10-year friendship on the Valley, and Andy Cohen, defending his casting choices, plus a wild pastor rumor down in Atlanta. We'll cover everything coming up in this audio. Hey, this is Delilah.
Hey, this is Fahid.
Welcome to Reality TV Audio Podcast, where we break down the latest in reality TV every day. So today we're taking a really deep dive into all these source documents and, just cutting straight through the noise.
Right, because there's always a lot of noise.
Oh, tons of it. But we aren't here to judge anyone's life choices today or, hand out these grand moral lessons. Our mission for this deep dive is just to look at the raw facts of the most viral reality TV news right now, give our quick opinions, and just kind of explore why this drama actually matters to the larger reality ecosystem.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're strictly serving up the facts as they are. It really is the only way to look at this space. Because if you get caught up in the morality of reality television, you totally miss the actual strategy behind the chaos.
You really do.
And today's stack of sources highlights this really specific theme, which is the weaponization of relationships. Whether that's a marriage or a decade-long friendship or even a professional partnership.
So true. Well, let's start with exactly that, the weaponization of an opinion on someone else's marriage, because this is happening in the absolute loudest corner of the Bravo universe right now.
Hulu's House of Stassi.
Yes. So Hulu just dropped their new show, House of Stassi, and Stassi Schroeder and her husband Beau Clark are they're putting their marital issues right out there on the table. It is incredibly raw.
It's almost shockingly raw for a new series.
Right. Because Beau actually admits on camera that he feels like a 1950s housewife. I mean, he's wearing the apron, doing the cleaning, feeding the kids, and he just flat out says they basically feel like disconnected roommates right now.
Which, it's a highly vulnerable thing to admit on a major streaming platform, but it's also a very calculated risk.
How so?
Well, when reality stars decide to monetize their personal stress, they're making a trade. They get the Hulu paycheck, obviously, but they essentially trap themselves into having everyone's from hardcore fans to just casual viewers judge the intimacy of that stress.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
The moment you leave the door cracked open on your private life, someone is going to walk right in and, give their 2 cents.
Which brings us to the most incredibly predictable yet somehow baffling part of this story. Because who decided to walk through that open door?
Take a wild guess.
In a leaked Cameo video, Stassi's ex, Jax Taylor, decided to chime in with some totally unsolicited advice.
Of course he did.
Right. He praises Stassi at first, calling her a boss butch, but then he flat out claims she is not the best wife because she puts Beau and their kids on the back burner for her career.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I just have to stop and push back on the sheer absurdity of this source material.
Yeah.
I mean, is Jax Taylor literally the poster child for questionable, chaotic relationship decisions, really the right person to be critiquing the mechanics of anyone's marriage?
The irony is certainly thick. I mean, you have a man whose own marriage has been this very public, very documented roller coaster, suddenly offering a critique on someone else's domestic life.
It's just wild.
It is. But from a media perspective, Jax understands relevance. He knows that attaching his name to the current trending topic, which is Stassi's new show, keeps him in the conversation.
Exactly.
But his comment actually validates the exact fear Stassi talked about in her recent Page 6 interview.
That interview was so revealing. She expressed that her absolute worst fear regarding the show is that fans will watch these vulnerable, disconnected moments with Beau and just immediately start picking sides.
Which is exactly what happens.
Yeah, she's terrified of this Team Beau versus Team Stassi narrative forming online, where the audience is actively telling them to get divorced. She emphasized heavily in the interview that, they are a team and they are just navigating a rough patch.
And this is the ultimate reality TV conditioning at play. As viewers, we're basically trained by these networks to expect a hero and a villain in every single conflict.
Right, there always has to be a winner.
Exactly. Why is our default reaction to pick a winner and a loser in someone else's marriage? It's because the genre demands it. But Stassi's making a very smart defensive PR move here to protect her real life.
Yeah, she went on the It Girl podcast and confirmed there will be absolutely no reunion for this first season of House of Stassi. She says they will just work it out in season 2.
Which keeps the narrative in-house, literally.
Literally. And, my quick opinion on this. Good for them for recognizing the reality TV trap. Avoiding a reunion where they'd just be forced to sit on a couch and defend their marriage against random Twitter comments. I mean, that is the healthiest boundary they could set.
Absolutely.
And speaking of keeping things in perspective, we also have to touch on a Barstool Sports interview where Stassi completely owned up to her biggest, quote-unquote, first world problem.
Oh, yes, this was funny.
She revealed she lives in constant fear of having her first-class flight downgraded. Apparently, it happened to her once. She literally cried, and she had to call her team to fix it immediately.
It is a fascinating juxtaposition, honestly. On one hand, she is showing immense self-awareness by actively categorizing it as a first-world problem.
Totally.
But on the other hand, it perfectly highlights the insulated bubble these reality stars operate within.
Look, I get travel anxiety. Navigating airports is super stressful, but crying over a coach seat is definitely a completely different tax bracket of stress. But hey, it's her truth, and she owned it.
She definitely did.
So let's pivot from a marriage trying to survive the cameras to a friendship that just completely evaporated because of them. We have to talk about the fallout on the spinoff show, The Valley.
Yeah, the friendship dynamics on this particular spinoff are incredibly complex. And as the source material shows, they're quite fragile when tested.
Very fragile. So ahead of the Valley Season 3 reunion, Kristen Doute, is aggressively denying that she manipulated Zach Wickham, against Janet Caperna.
Right.
Kristen is standing her ground, saying Zach is a grown man and impossible to manipulate. But the collateral damage here is massive. This drama has entirely severed Zach's nearly 10-year friendship with Brittany Cartwright.
This is a perfect case study in the cost of doing business in reality television.
It really is, because Brittany is deeply hurt in the current reporting. She is crying because Zach immediately chose to believe Kristen and Nia Sanchez over her regarding this whole he said, she said situation.
And Zach, on the other hand, is accusing the rest of the cast of deflection. He actually told Brittany, quote, "The way you treat people is not working."
Ouch.
Yeah. And Brittany responded by admitting she just blanket gives her love out to people and she doesn't want to change that fundamental part of who she is.
Oh, okay, but how does a decade-long friendship evaporate so quickly over reality TV gossip? Like, I just don't buy that a decade of real-world history disappears over one on-camera deflection.
Well, what's happening here is the pressure cooker environment of the show altering basic human interaction. Cast members on these shows often use alliances to deflect from their own bad behavior.
Right.
Zach is claiming that the other women are simply projecting onto him. When you are on a show that requires constant conflict to maintain ratings, you start viewing your friends as either allies who will defend you on camera or liabilities who won't.
But there must have been foundational cracks already, right? I mean, the cameras don't just invent a breakup out of thin air, they just expose the existing fractures.
That is a very fair point. But cameras absolutely act as an accelerant. You know, a 10-year friendship in the real world is built on grace. You can have a private misunderstanding, apologize, and move on.
Yeah, nobody has to know about it.
Exactly. But a friendship on reality TV is built on defense. The moment Zach felt Brittany wasn't blindly defending him to the rest of the cast, that real-world foundation cracked because the betrayal was public.
That makes a lot of sense.
Neither side can back down and just apologize privately without looking weak to the audience, which is basically the kiss of death on a show like The Valley.
It's like the cameras act as a wedge that turns a normal disagreement into a permanent loyalty test. It's so intense. But hey, before we get into the actual legal drama making headlines today, I want to give a quick shout out to our listener Reality Junkie 99 for always tuning into our deep dives.
Yes, we see you in the comments, and we appreciate you geeking out over these source documents with us every single day.
We really do. And while we're taking a quick breath, here's a very fun fact pulled straight from our sources for you to file away.
Oh, this is a good one.
Did you know the Valley's Michel Sane was just spotted at Nobu stepping out with none other than the legendary rapper Dr. Dre?
I mean, that is a crossover event absolutely nobody had on their 2026 bingo card.
Not a single person. The simulation is truly glitching right now. But okay, let's look at what happens when these reality TV conflicts graduate from the court of public opinion and friendship breakups to actual, literal courts of law.
The stakes change entirely when lawsuits are filed and sworn testimony is required.
Absolutely. So former Real Housewives of Orange County star Kelly Dodd Kelly Dodd, and her husband, Rick Leventhal, are currently suing her Florida-based brand manager, Lacey Kogan, in small claims court.
And the lawsuit is for $12,500.
Right. Now, let's look at the facts of the allegation. Kelly claims that Lacey routed over 500 products from Kelly's Shop My account directly to Lacey's own home in Boca Raton.
And the value of those intercepted products is allegedly over $42,000.
Which is huge.
It is. To understand the gravity of this, we need to look at how the influencer ecosystem actually works.
Yes, please, let's break that down. Because to a casual observer, it just sounds like, missing free lip gloss. But it's way deeper than that.
Exactly. So Shop Me is an affiliate platform. Brands send an influencer product, the swag, and the influencer is contractually obligated to post about it using specific affiliate links to drive sales.
Right, that's the whole business model.
Yeah. So if a manager intercepts 500 items, the influencer never receives the product, which means they never create the content.
Oh, wow.
To the brand, it just looks like the influencer breached their contract and took the product for free without delivering the agreed-upon marketing. It completely destroys the influencer's reliability and metrics in the eyes of the brands.
It just breaks the entire chain of deliverables. Kelly says she was stripped of the opportunity to make money, and it cost her major partnerships and paychecks.
But there's another side to the public reaction here.
Oh, totally. If you look at the commenters on the original source article, they're not holding back an inch. They are slamming Kelly, suggesting that the real reason she lost brand deals isn't because of a rogue manager intersecting packages.
Right.
They're saying it's because of her own historically documented toxic and bigoted behavior online. My quick opinion on this. Kelly suing her manager for ruining her brand reputation is like a bull suing a china shop for breaking plates. The collateral damage was already a feature of her brand.
That is a very illuminating analogy regarding public perception versus personal accountability.
Right.
But from a purely factual legal standpoint, what's interesting here is the math. They're alleging $42,000 worth of missing merchandise, but they filed in small claims court.
Which legally caps the damages they can recover at $12,500.
Exactly. It suggests a strategic desire for a quick, potentially less expensive legal resolution, rather than dragging out a massive civil suit that would require heavy attorney fees. They're just cutting their losses to get a fast judgment.
A quick fix for a big problem. And speaking of legal clouds, Kelly is also fighting a separate revenge porn case right now. She went on Jeff Lewis Live and angrily called the allegations bullshit, claiming she just has a dark cloud over her lately.
And this legal trend of revenge porn lawsuits is expanding rapidly within the Bravo sphere. The sources also note that Vanderpump Rules star Ariana Madix just lost her appeal to have Rachel Leviss revenge porn lawsuit against her dismissed.
It's intense!
The courts are increasingly becoming the arena where these reality TV disputes are ultimately settled, moving the drama from a reunion stage to a deposition room.
It really blurs the line between a reality show storyline and real-life legal jeopardy. I mean, when your entire professional life revolves around sharing everything, the legal boundaries of what belongs to who, whether it's PR swag or private videos, they just get incredibly messy, incredibly fast.
They really do.
So let's move from the legal accusations in California to the wild character accusations happening down in Atlanta before we finally zoom out to look at the network boss trying to manage it all.
The Atlanta situation perfectly encapsulates how rumors function as currency on these shows. They're used to basically buy screen time and deflect from real-world issues.
Exactly. So, on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Kelly Potter is clapping back hard at Portia Williams, because Portia accused Kelly of sleeping with a married pastor. Naturally. Now, Kelly totally and completely denies this. She says she's very happy in her current relationship and claims the other women are just being chatty patties.
Chatty patties, wow.
Yeah, she says they are throwing these rumors around to cover up the realities of their own lives. And she even teased that the upcoming reunion is going to expose all their lies.
And it is worth noting the historical pattern here. The source material points out that Portia previously leveled the exact same sleeping with a pastor accusation against Shamea Morton in a past season.
Which makes me wonder why a pastor? Like, out of all the professions to pull out of thin air for a rumor, why do reality TV stars always default to the sleeping with a married pastor narrative? It feels so incredibly specific.
Well, if we look at the mechanics of a scandal, A pastor represents the ultimate moral high ground in many communities.
Right, the pillar of the community.
Exactly. Accusing someone of corrupting that specific figure creates a massive juxtaposition. It maximizes the shock value for the audience, so it's highly effective for driving ratings, even if it is a blatantly recycled accusation. I mean, it hits much harder than saying they slept with a random businessman.
It's the ultimate reality TV weapon to ensure maximum outrage. And someone who knows exactly how those weapons drive the business is the network boss, Andy Cohen. Andy Cohen.
It definitely does.
He recently took to the social media platform Threads to answer a bunch of fan questions, and he did not hold back on defending his casting choices regarding highly controversial figures.
Now, regarding Andy Cohen's statements on political affiliations on the network, let's just make something very clear before we dive in.
Yes, and just as a quick aside for you listening, because we know politics gets incredibly heated and divisive, our goal today is just to look at the mechanics of Andy's casting strategy based strictly on the sources provided. We aren't taking any political sides here. Left wing, right wing, we are absolutely not endorsing any political viewpoints.
Right. We are just unpacking how Bravo uses this friction as a business model. We're just conveying the claims in the source material.
Exactly. So with that established, the facts are that fans aggressively questioned Andy on Threads about casting Maggie A. women on The Real Housewives of Orange County. Specifically, they brought up Emily Simpson, who previously denied being Maggie, but was accused by viewers of donating to Donald Trump.
And Andy defended the casting strategy by stating that the show is fundamentally about the women and their relationship with each other, not about politics.
Right.
He argued that if they didn't showcase people with different points of view, there simply wouldn't be a show.
Which, I mean, it is a calculated, financially driven strategy. Bravo is, first and foremost, a business.
Yes, and Andy Cohen understands that ideological friction generates viewership. Leaning into controversy, whether it's political divides, polarizing personalities, or scandalous rumors, that is the engine of their ratings. A harmonious cast does not generate social media engagement.
He definitely leans in, because he also defended bringing Vicky Gunvalson, back for season 20, even after a fan blatantly told him she was unwatchable.
Wow.
And if you thought the political questions were intense, Andy also addressed rumors surrounding RHONY season 16. He promised that Carol Radziwill will answer all questions regarding her alleged ties to Jeffrey Epstein on the upcoming season.
That is a heavy topic for a Housewives show.
Very heavy. Plus, just for the franchise fans wanting expansion news, he confirmed there were indeed past casting attempts for Real Housewives of Nashville and Chicago.
From defending Vicky to teasing the Epstein rumors with Carol's, Andy is basically confirming that no topic is too controversial if it serves the overarching narrative of the show.
Absolutely.
It's about keeping the audience constantly engaged, even if that engagement stems from pure outrage.
Okay, let's unpack everything we've just covered, because it has been a real journey through the mechanics of reality TV today. We started with Stassi and Beau actively choosing to monetize the raw, unpolished roommate phase of their marriage, while Jax Taylor throws stones from a glass house to stay relevant.
And then we saw the collateral damage of those reality TV alliances, with Zach and Brittany's decade-long friendship crumbling under the weight of camera-ready deflections and the pressure to perform loyalty.
Then we waded into the real-world legal swamps, with Kelly Dodd fighting over missing promotional swag in small claims court, while simultaneously battling revenge porn allegations. No. And finally, Kelly Potter fighting off recycled pastor rumors in Atlanta, all while Andy Cohen sits at the top, managing the arsenal and reminding us that the controversy is the product. My quick final opinion: it is a wild time to be a Bravo fan, but you really have to have a strong stomach for the legal and emotional wreckage these shows leave behind in the real world.
The underlying facts remain the same across all these stories, whether it is a marital spat, a damaged brand deal, or a federal lawsuit. Everything eventually becomes content.
It really does. And speaking of explosive content, make sure you tune into our next audio, because we have a huge story coming up. A reality star is alleging that Andy Cohen sent him a message on a dating app after he went public with his boyfriend, and he is issuing a major warning. You will not want to miss this.
Oh, it's going to be a very analytical look at a highly volatile, rapidly developing situation.
Before we go, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. We've talked today about stars like Kelly Dodd using her platform for Shop My Brand deals, and Stassi Schroeder monetizing her marital struggles on Hulu. At what point does living your entire life for the cameras and turning every personal conflict into a business opportunity permanently damage your ability to have a normal off-screen relationship? Like, when every argument can be a storyline, can you ever really turn the camera off in your own mind?
That is the big question.
It is. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. Keep your eyes open, and we'll catch you on the next one.